Hey, hey, you are listening to What's the Story? My name is Janice Hermson. I am your host here with Ed Knoll and Doug Ashby. And I have to tell you, if you look on the table, you're going to see a big old mess because it's two birthdays this week. We have Ed's on Thursday and Doug's on Friday. How did I do that? How did I pick two guys that have birthdays one day after the other? I had no idea. That's interesting.
I think it's crazy, Doug. I didn't really know you were a Virgo.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, well,
For
barely.
whatever that means.
Barely.
I think a lot of storylines are making sense now.
Well, that's a good thing.
Very well.
You can just try to yeah.
Which one am I? Is that good?
Yeah.
Are you good now?
Yes.
Is that better?
Sometimes when it gets too loud, your
can't
voice
hear.
isn't clear.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
That's fine.
I can hear you just
Perfect.
fine.
We've got so many knobs around here to turn and fiddle with.
We usually do this beforehand, and we did, but apparently we didn't do it very well. So we did it again. How about that? All right. So we are, it is September 17th, which happens to be Constitution Day. I didn't put that in my post today, but
What?
it is Constitution Day.
Why in September?
September 17th, 1887 is when it was signed.
Huh?
How about that?
Wow.
That's what it said. That's what it said.
1897?
No, 87.
87?
87. Let me check my facts here.
Yeah.
September
1987
7th, not 1987.
You sure? I think it
I'm
might have been.
Yeah, it's funny. Everything says September 17th on this post, but nothing gives you the original year. How about that? Are you going to eat that now?
So
I got them both each a cupcake, and they blew out their candles and made wishes and all that.
Yeah, I'm going to take mine home for Debbie, because, for a real basic reason. One, because I love her. But two, this would get all over me.
So that's.
I said 18. It's 1787, and I thought that was weird. I read that in another post that it was 18 because I wrote it down.
18.
And it said 1887. I thought, well, that's weird. I don't think that's right, but I didn't have time to check, so I just checked, and it is 1787.
Yeah,
which is
that makes all sense.
That makes sense, but I was like, well, that's what it says. Don't believe the internet.
You know what's strange to me is I'm a person that remembers things by looking for commonalities.
Right.
And so I didn't know that was on the 17th. It's so close to my birthday. That would have saved me all kinds of memory cells.
I know. See there?
Right?
Just a couple of days.
I know.
Yeah.
I would have linked that up in a hurry.
You remember things by
association.
Huh.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember things, period.
So no,
you're getting ready to have a birthday. You remember that, right?
I can remember. So like animals, people, right? Sometimes I think people are named wrong. If their name looks right, and I say it, I can remember it. But sometimes I think more so with animals, I think they're named wrong. So I just call them what I think the right name should be.
Oh, how funny. Maybe that's why I sometimes can't remember people's names, is because they're named wrong.
They are. Yeah. I think there's a thing there.
You know what? The common response to that is the reason you can't remember people's names is because you don't care.
Oh
no, I think it's familiarity, because you know what?
That hurts.
The internet taught me a big lesson. Remember when they came out and go, oh, my email is edknoll.net. Blah, blah, blah. And we go, that's regular vernacular now.
Yeah.
Right. And I think it's the same.
It's true. Yeah. Same kind of thing. I think you're right. I was just watching the clock and I thought, I was like, oh no, we're almost ready for break. I went back to the studio, right? We used to air on the radio live. Now we air at night and it's a recording. So we don't have the same commercial breaks that we had then.
So we have the good banter of the break time. The break time banter is now online.
It's all the time.
Yeah.
Yes, and we will be adding some sponsors here down the road. I actually have one that we need to add, and Ed's going to be reading that one. Not today, but in the future. So
exciting! It's exciting having a new team of sponsors and people, lifting us up. Yeah, we love it. If you want to lift us up, you can.
Taking a little bit. Takes a little while to make that happen, but and if you would like to have a show here at the LaRue Press Network, we are available to help you do that. So just contact me at how should I have them? Go to lrpnv.com, hit the contact us button, and I'll be reached that way, or janicehermson.com.
Is that mood ball actually working? Is it a mood ball, or is it just a multicolored ball?
I don't think you can see that on air, but it's just a multicolored thing that goes different colors.
It reminded me of like the mood ring. Yeah. Kind of the mood, or the
showing
mood
our age.
Orb, right? Like a crystal ball kind of thing.
Oh, thank goodness you mentioned that. I thought I was...
You are so funny. Well, we have been quite loquacious, and he's been quite right?
No doubt. It's a reversal.
Yes, it is. Word of the day, folks. In case you looked at the picture, and if you didn't, you really should have. And now let me see if I can share my screen.
You think it's one of those words that the people who it really describes likely don't know the meaning of that word?
You think? There it is. There's our picture. And you were supposed to be able to interpret what is our word of the day based on the picture. So there you go. It's loquacious. And this guy over here is ready to take a snooze because this dude over here is talking too much.
Well, it looks like he's got a bath towel on. So he's been talking through the shower.
I was looking at this and I thought, are we in our underwear or
only
right?
Ed would notice that.
So, hold on.
The guy on the left
so
looks
look
like
at that
underwear,
little
right?
X on that little bulb. What is that? What? It's not a belt buckle.
It does
just saying.
It does look sort of like they've tied off a little towel there or something, right? And they're odd colors.
Right.
Too.
The pattern is the pattern of like a dish towel.
Yeah. I have one like that.
I do too.
I think mine has crosses on the other side. So we're being so loquacious and he's so quiet.
You know what? I think we've achieved it. We've come to a new low.
I love this.
So I think when you can find commonality among kitchen rags, that you've really come together, right? Who does that?
I guess we do.
We do, right? Who's tighter than us? Nobody.
Yep.
So anyway, my opportunity to say, hey, subscribe now.
Well, I was going to say that little bub in the back of his head is the same size as the towel bub. He's got kind of unique hair, too.
It is. He's got a man bun. It's a man bun.
He looks 12, but I don't know, right? Anyway,
he just talks too much.
It's fascinating.
Kind of, huh?
It is.
Oh, that's interesting. Look at the... Oh, these are recent episodes on the right. Do they show up? They do. How about that? Anyway, subscribe. Go to hermson.substack.com and do a little subscribe. There's no charge for that, but it will let you know things like this and show you beautiful pictures like this.
You'll be smarter for it.
And you'll know what we're going to be talking about on the show for the most part. I sometimes add things and sometimes we subtract, but generally speaking.
Loquacious, right?
Loquacious. Yeah, we probably should talk about the word of the day. Yeah. Doug, are you with me? Are you reading this? Are you reading the post finally?
I think Doug's in the audience.
I think.
No, it was Ed. I'm still looking at that guy's shorts.
Towel.
That's
You
towel.
mean a towel.
That does look like a towel.
That's a total
That's
towel. Look how
totally a
it's
towel.
crinkled
Look at
and
it.
rain. That's a towel.
For those of you listening on the radio and when on the recorded episode, there's this green, it's not even plaid. It's just green with.
It's checked. It looks like a tic-tac-toe.
Sort of. Yeah, it does. It looks like a
Tic-tac-toe checker.
And the other guy's
institutional
shorts, I guess,
green towel.
with an orange shirt of all things, right? And then he has a man bun. And then you have this guy in a blue shirt, and he's yawning because the other dude's talking too much.
But his right elbow of the dude with the orange shirt looks like he's got some kind of disease. Like his arm, like his circulation's off.
Could be. But then his shorts and they're more like shorts than a towel.
Yeah.
But he still has that little tie thing. Anyway, much for that.
Again, it's an old adage for interviewers and people like that. When somebody is, carrying on and on,
Loquacious,
being loquacious and talking in circles, best thing to do is just get out of their way.
And you have.
I have.
You did a good job. All right, so let's do our loquacious word of the day. And what is that? We know it means talkative.
Yes.
Obviously.
Tending to talk a great deal. Talkative. Yes, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
I didn't put a note where I actually got this, because what they're starting to do is, instead of saying synonyms, they're saying similar words.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's a failure.
You're going to have to go to thesaurus and make sure.
That's a failure. If they're not using synonyms anymore for similar words, that's like where our education's gone. Loquacious, per the Webster's New Collegiate Dictionary.
1953.
Well, maybe, right. I like this. It says to speak, given to excessive talking.
Excessive talking. Yeah.
And that's all.
Yeah. They were people of few words in those times.
Well, they didn't. Seems to me like the definitions worked. You didn't need to just for example, the Biden Title IX, right? Title IX's like one sentence, lifting up women, and then Biden's change of that is like 5,000 pages.
I know it's a lot.
I love simplicity in government.
Yes. So are you dealing with just similar words there?
Okay, sure. Talkative, we got that. Long-winded, wordy, verbose.
Verbose, I like.
I like the word verbose. Why, I don't know. Profuse, prolix, Prolix.
What's that?
I'm not familiar with that word.
I thought that was a drug company.
Effusive, gushing, rambling, communicative, chatty, gossiping. I don't think gossiping fits in there.
I don't either. I know I was looking up synonyms and that came up in the pictures that I was trying to find. How about jabbering? Jabbering is pretty good.
Yeah,
right?
Jabberjaw.
Or motor mouth. I knew we had somebody when I was growing up and we called her motor mouth.
Do you remember the cartoon Jabberjaw? That Jabberjaw shark looking thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's actually come up into recent vernacular because my brother's dog has a Jabberjaw chew toy.
Oh.
Right. But Jabberjaw was loquacious. And I have a question around this word. What does quacious mean? Right. So all these old Latin words from Latin, right? Low is some kind of prefix. There's a quacious is a word, I'm sure.
I'm looking
a Latin word.
You think that's what it is?
I bet it is.
Let me get down to this, because I think the first few are actually quite well. Conversational, that would fit, I think. Outspoken.
Conversation. Loquacious people talk way too much to be
have a conversation.
Okay. Well, that
one.
one's out. Okay. Vocal, mouthy, chatty, talky, ongoing, gabby, Here it is. Motor mouth. It says motor mouthed.
Oh, that's
Past
interesting.
tense.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Blabby, expansive, articulate. I don't think that fits.
No, not a bit.
No.
However, it was first recorded in 1660 to 1670.
That's a long time ago.
That is.
So on
Even for the
these,
two of you with birthdays.
I look
it's
at
still
all
a long
these
time.
these words you're coming up with. Like, where is the like really descriptive one? BIG, just big. Right. I mean, right.
Well, how about this? Fluent.
No.
I know I do. I think that fits.
Fluent?
Sure.
No, I don't think so.
How?
How is that loquacious? That's not talkative.
Well, if you
That's not-
are fluent, means you speak a lot about it.
I think that's a stretch myself.
Okay.
It is. I agree that it's a reach.
All right. Now here's one that I don't think fits. Glib.
No, I don't think
No,
so either.
that's the opposite side.
So the British characterization of this is characterized by or showing a tendency to talk a great deal. They're so proper.
Okay. How about
Right? We're like talkative, gabby.
Well, right. Listen to.
babbling.
That's what I said. We
Yeah.
get big, little.
how about free spoken?
I don't think that fits either. I mean, free spoken just means people may not have a conscience when they talk. Not that they're too talkative.
No.
Oh,
But
we just shut you down.
Gregarious.
I've been wrong before.
And let's see, wordy. We already got that. So I'm going to look at fluent here.
Yeah, I don't think fluent fits at all.
Fluent. The only thing you can get on fluent is like if someone's fluently Spanish and the whole crowd's English and they're going on showing how cool they are in Spanish, that might be a time where they were loquacious,
So,
but not all the time.
my dictionary here says spoken or written with ease. That wouldn't be
Okay. Here,
talkative.
well, I think the definition of this would kind of make it fit. Excuse me. Affluent, the definition is able to express oneself readily and effortlessly. Well,
and endlessly, right?
but the second definition is flowing effortlessly. And then the third is flowing and moving smoothly or gracefully.
And you can
That's not
accomplish,
talkative.
and those definitions are actually correct. All you got to do is put an A in front of fluent, and that's what you got.
AF.
Well, that's
Well, that was interesting.
yeah. Let's see.
So we covered Constitution Day, 1787. Not what I said the first time.
So-
everybody was correcting me in their heads, I'm sure.
So on the 1787 Constitution Day, like,
Yes.
was there like a parade on that day?
Well,
Did
I'll
people
tell you.
dress up as constitutional documents?
I don't know what they did that day.
Oh,
I
here-
was just curious what a regular Constitution
Do you
Day
know-
celebration might entail.
Hey, this is going back to these definitions or these synonyms. Prolix, PROLIX, absolutely fits because what it is it's tediously prolonged or wordy. So, man, that fits. That'd be right up there with verbose, I think.
That's
Or not.
interesting. Yeah.
I don't know, right? I just go to the root words and prolix, right?
Yeah, I wonder with the word with the prefix of pro. Let's see here. Extended to or great length, unnecessarily wrong. Similar, tedious, and worrisome. Tedious, lengthy.
So in 2023, somebody wrote the story of Constitution Day and Citizenship Day. I didn't know it was also Citizenship Day. I'll have to look through this and see if I can give you any insights.
No other media organization is discussing Constitution Day.
Oh, there might be a couple. You never know.
Well, I haven't seen it today.
Yeah, that's true.
In my,
I remember we'd done shows on this before.
We have.
Yeah, on
We have.
Constitution Day. I actually didn't recognize the date, and so I didn't put it in my post. But I did see it, so I thought it was important to mention.
I can just stretch it
We should
and just
prepare.
say I was born on Constitution Day. It's
No,
only
you
2
can't.
days.
You can't stretch it.
It's only
Can't
2
do it.
days. There's only 365 and change in a
It's
year,
true.
right? I'm
It's
just saving up the
true.
change.
So let's talk about fires in Nevada. You know, we had a huge fire here in Nevada.
We have
Well,
fires here?
I guess I wouldn't say huge in comparison to some others that I've seen, but it was huge in the fact of where it was, I think.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
that's where it became huge. It
Yeah.
they started out saying it was 6,500 acres. It was really only 58, was it? 59 is what it ended up being.
That's a definition without a distinction, I think.
Well, but it's not. It's not. No, I don't think so. Because first of all, they need to have some accuracy in reporting. You don't start off saying, "Oh, it's over 6,000 acres," and it's less than 6,000 acres. You just
Even when
don't
they're
in your
done.
head.
Even when they're done, it scared me to death.
Yeah. So I think that accuracy in reporting is important. They should underdo, if anything, and then, go up. It's just like when they report earthquakes, 7.1 earthquake. Oh, wait, it was a 6.8, and there is a difference between a 7.1 and 6. You lived in
Big
Southern
difference,
California.
yeah.
You know the difference, right?
Yeah, yes.
Well, there's a big difference between 1,500 acres. It's the difference between my house burning and my house not burning, right?
Well, it depends on where you are.
Exactly. And where you were and where Ed was were two different things, but you were both near that same fire.
There's a little irony in our house almost burning down this time. Growing up, this is the third time I've been exposed
You
to
got to
what
quit
happened.
setting them.
When I was living at home, when I was just a mere boy child, we lived in an area in LA City that we were evacuated. But here, it's a little different. When they evacuated you there, you said, well, you better leave. And then that was pretty much it. Everybody took to saving their own homes, which we did. Everybody was up on their roofs, squirting it down. So when I got home from work that night, my dad and my sister were up on the roof, squirting it down. Well, needless to say, we, got through that crisis. Now, fast forward about 20 years, when we lived in Orange County, we lived in an area. It was a lot like St. James Village. And those that are listening on the radio aren't familiar with St. James Village. It's a housing development. It's a guarded gate community. And it's, what would you say, 10 miles north of Reno? It's
South.
South.
Like I was saying, 10 miles. But you can't.
We'll get your directions
I
right.
was going to say, we're not up there instead. Too bad. We could add Silver Lake. Oh, there's no water in it. That's right.
But what's interesting is our mailing address is Reno.
Right.
So it is in Reno, but from downtown. So we are south of it. So again, growing up in Orange County, this is a home we built there. Fire blew through there. And again, we were up on our roof. We were evacuated and saved our own home. Here, when they evacuated you, when you left, the sheriff's department says, tough, you're not going back. And you could not go back. That was it. They wouldn't let you work on your own house. I have kind of mixed emotions with that, but that's neither here nor there.
I wondered how you felt about that because once you told me, because I thought you were still there, you sent a picture.
Yeah.
He sent me a picture showing that it was really right outside his front door. And
well, the fire for us in St. James Village, where it started was Davis Creek, and hence the name of the fire, Davis Creek Fire, and it burned up from our south side.
So where they want to put that pumping station down there, right? And stick all that density down towards Washoe Valley. This is the third fire in 10 years, folks.
Yeah.
We've evacuated Pleasant Valley Elementary School with kids in it. People's homes burned this time, and they keep putting density down our throat. And I had a stranger gal visiting town, older gal, come to me and go, "Hey, what up with the fire? Where's the information?"
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
Where does our government give us information? One place that we can go and get their information, and so we know what's right and what's not.
Well, if you only knew the impact of what your statement was, because, as a homeowner, knowing you were evacuated, knowing which way the fire is approaching, and when you were there, seeing the fire as it approached, the only thing you could do is go on the freeway and look up and say, "Oh my gosh, I don't know if that's close or not."
That's right.
But
Well, and it really depended, because when I was at my house, it looked actually small, right? In other words, it looked like one big plume of smoke, and that was it, just like almost like an explosion. And that was all I saw. Then when I came to the shop, which is only 12, 15 minutes away, then you look out and it's like it's everywhere. Well, because the smoke had, it's gone.
Dissipates. I was working in Spanish
So-
Springs. Same thing. I go there and see the fire from my house.
Right.
I can't see it.
Right. Exactly.
Now,
Yeah.
I
Well,
did.
because Ed lives on
I
the other
live just
side of the
about 3 or
highway.
4
Yeah.
miles from where it starts, and right through I can look through the valleys, through Pleasant Valley, kind
Right.
of right to Davis Creek.
Right.
It's a place I frequent.
Right.
And you can see it. And I saw the smoke coming up from there. And instead, I live in the valley, and Doug lives up on the hill. But the Mount Rose Highway, the wind blew it up the hill instead of through the
Right.
valley.
Right.
It had it blown through the valley,
Well, yeah,
it
you
would have been us.
evacuated. Yeah.
but it wasn't. It was you folks uphill, unfortunately
So
for you.
you had to wait until the day you went home to find out whether you had a home?
Oh,
Was that
absolutely.
what happened?
Absolutely. Because, let me finish my narrative of what happened to our house in St. James. Like I said, it approached from Davis Creek, came up that way. Well, while we were there, and because I lived, being a professional firefighter from LA County, I have been on many, many, many of these incidents just like this.
Sure.
Malibu is filled with St. James villages. So Debbie and I did not get the word to evacuate, but our granddaughter was at the house and she called us and she says, "Hey, we're supposed to evacuate." We were in town. We said, "We'll be right there."
Oh,
We will be right there. We went there and we picked her up. Well, what I want to do, the firefighter in me, I'm going to drive our community and see what exactly is going on. Well, you haven't lived until you have 2 women with you going, let's go, let's get out of here. Come on, it's too close. We got to.
I'm single.
So anyway, just where it is approaching St. James Village, we get a Phos-Chek drop from a fixed wing hair. Well, it pretty much ended it coming into St. James Village. And I said, "Hey, Debbie and Emily, we're okay. Let's go ahead. We can leave now." Well, boy, was I wrong, because then it turned around and it came from a different direction. It came from, I think, it came in. It was, now it's wind blown,
right.
and it's attacking us from another area. So that dies down. The next day we get winds. It circles around.
Right.
Now we've got it from the bottom with the left side, and now it's coming in on the right side. And man, but again, we try every morning. We get up and we look at the news media. Knowledge and nothing. If you want yesterday's news or 2 days
Yes.
news, what good is that?
Right.
So anyway,
Well, and everybody was pushing everyone to the Watch Duty app. So if you weren't if your home wasn't there, that was fine. You had enough information from that to kind of give you some sense of it.
yes.
But if I had been you, I would have been pretty upset.
Well, again, what saved us, and we need to talk about this a little bit, and I don't want to get too far into the weeds, but there's a lot we need to talk about, because these firefighters that fought this fire did an outstanding job. We went home, we got evacuated on Friday. not the next Saturday, but a week from that Saturday, we finally got released back to go home. That is when I really got worried, because I saw on 3 sides of our house, the fire was, no, that's being a little dishonest. 2 sides, the bottom side and the
Come on,
left side,
You can embellish.
the fire was
Who's giving
within,
out?
was I can get this out, was within 1 house of us,
Wow.
about 100 feet. Well, you drive through the community and you will see where the fire came right up behind a house,
And they got it.
and it did. And that happened all over except for 2 houses, and they were burnt right to the ground. And nothing is,
That's
your
such a
just
bummer.
heart goes
Yeah.
out to them. But let's talk about this for just a second. When you get a fixed wing water drop that has Phos-Chek in it, a lot of people are thinking, oh my gosh, they're putting the fire out. That's not their objective. Their objective is to get in front of that fire. It is a sticky, gooey mess when it lays down. The fire will burn up to it and go out for lack of fuel. Now you have another fixed wing, which were the super scoopers. Now they can come up, and what they would do is they are an aircraft, and they fly, and they go down into either a lake or wherever, a swimming pool. Just kidding.
I was going to say Washoe Lake has commonly been used
Yeah,
for
it
that
has.
and was very
Well,
convenient.
When
for
you
them.
stop and think about it, the super scoopers, they were flying north to Lake Tahoe. Why were they going to Lake Tahoe? Because they're empty going up.
Right.
They hold 11 to 1,200 gallons of water. So now they're laden and they're heavy, so they can fly downhill, going, to where the fire is.
Right.
Well, because they don't have the retardant, they can, but they didn't. Now they have water. They can fly right along the fire line and put water on it and put it out. Now, the rotary wing, the helicopters, that's what they do. They pick up anywhere from 300 to 600 gallons of water, and they, again, drive it right on the fire line. Well, we say the fire line, how you put out a wildland fire like this is you start at a position of safety, basically, hopefully with the wind at your back, and the super scoopers and the helicopters, they will put the fire out with water. A camp crew will come in and widen that line. Now that's how they go around the fire, by doing that. And when they say it's 56% contained or 46%, containment is just that, where they have this line,
Sure, that makes sense.
right, that
Yeah.
goes around it, and then so anyway, they work their way around it. So there are 3 airborne tools that all 3 of them have different tasks to them. Well, in St. James Village, I was talking to some of the principals there in St. James, and they flooded our area with fire trucks. So what they did was then they went in there. The Phos-Chek kept it away from the house as much as they could, but they can only do so much because the fire does something else. We've talked about this before. It will spot.
Mhm.
It will send an ember up over that line to the other side. Well, when that happened, those fire engines were there to put out and protect those houses.
So they did a good job.
Oh my gosh. And I'm not, I've been there. I know this because I know what it takes to save,
Sure.
to save a house.
I knew you'd have stories.
Now, I want to, speaking of stories, I have a story to tell you because we're going to hear this more as we go on. My son, my oldest boy, Colton, is an Orange County firefighter, battalion chief, right? He goes out to dinner with 2 of his other firefighter friends. All 3 of them are on duty. They go to a restaurant, right? There's a 4th guy with them, but that's okay. So they're sitting there and they're just happy remarks. They get up. Well, all of a sudden, the guy in that restaurant, older man into his 80s, 82, 83 years old, stands up and grabs his throat.
Oh.
Now, what's that? That's a universal
Choking.
sign of something is stuck in my throat.
Where were they eating?
Yeah. So, so anyway, now my boy, he's a 10-year paramedic. He gets up and he looks at the other two guys. They don't get up. They go, oh, what's that? He goes over there and he gives them the Heimlich maneuver. And he says, Dad, when I was doing it, he says, you know, this old deal where they show you, you put your, and you pull. He says, my gosh, I did it 5 or 6 different times. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
And he says, oh, I'm going to kill this guy just by jerking on him, Anyway, about the 7th or 8th time, he dislodges this piece of meat that was caught in his throat. Wow. He literally saved that guy's life. Now they put him up for one of the annual hero awards within Orange County. Isn't that nice?
Oh, nice.
It went all the way up through, got to a deputy chief. And this is the moral of the story. He says, no, he's not going to get that award.
Oh.
That's his duty. That's what we do.
Wow.
So that is a backdrop. This question,
Gotta love big.
you are going to hear this until the cows come home. And I want to hear people's input to this, because like seeing those firefighters come into my community and save those houses, I think those guys went far, well beyond what was expected of them. So I think they did a great job. But there's a deputy chief out there that's
going to say that's their job.
It's just their job.
It was funny on
You're
Saturday. I went to Washoe Valley. I went to Seoul, and I was pulling in, and it's still smoldering over there, still like behind those ridges.
Right.
And there was a fire truck in there, like in Seoul, like protecting it. And there's some young, the guys that look like they're in high school wearing garb.
Well, you do something different than us.
So, but anyway, I walked in. I was driving in, and I had my convertible, right? I had my car, and I put my window down and went right over and go, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's what we can do.
Whenever I go to the
that's
store
good.
and I'm with my wife and we're shopping and there's firefighters in there, I'll go, oh, so you guys are firefighters? Yes. Yes, we are. And I said, that's a pretty easy job to get, isn't it?
Do you follow them around to see what they eat?
My wife starts hitting me and she's going, no, he's kidding. This is
It's a great way to start up a conversation. Hey, I want to mention, I know you guys still probably have more to talk about, but I want to mention that Steve was kind enough to give us some background on the 1660s, the back formation.
I was going to say, speaking of loquacious,
yes, I know.
He's right on time.
Quite loquacious today, isn't
yes,
he?
Well,
yes.
every day.
Every day. Well, you know that better than I. All right. And then a little bit of a link there. So if you're interested, you can go onto our Facebook page and find that. And then Constitution Day, he's vying for your spot. That's what this is. He's vying for your spot. Constitution Day and Citizenship Day in 2004, Senator Robert Byrd added an amendment to the omnibus spending bill that established Constitution Day and Citizenship Day as a federal holiday.
See, you can tell he's a work from homer.
It's true. And there's a lot more. I'm not going to read it all right now, but and then
awesome stuff though.
I Am an American Day in 1940. Congress passed a joint resolution to recognize new citizens by setting aside the third Sunday in May as an I Am an American Day, Citizenship Day in 1952. So how about that? So everybody's got a day.
It seems to me like we got more than one day.
We have a lot of
It seems
days.
to me like, we all have our birthday, right?
Yeah.
And then you got your ethnic heritage day,
Yeah.
and then you got Christmas and Easter, right? You have the regular holiday days.
Yeah,
Well, we
and
don't
then there
have
was
we don't
also
have Christmas anymore.
yes, we do.
We do.
It's-
The kids at school don't,
It's
but
a
we
holiday.
do.
What is it? Happy Holiday Day, or what do
No,
they call it?
it's Christmas.
Yeah.
So you have some western wildfires in Nevada.
Do we have any
California,
other
Arizona.
fires?
Yes, we do. We have, let's see,
Isn't that LA?
Bridgeline
LA
Airport.
burning into
Where's
Nevada.
Bridgeline Airport? That's what they're talking about.
Ridgeline.
Yeah, that
I'm
doesn't
not-
sound
I'm not
familiar
familiar.
to me.
I'm
Must be, let's see. Fires were stressing. 71 active large fires were burning across the U.S. 71.
Yeah, there's
That's
a
a
lot.
lot.
Well, they're almost all in Oregon and California too. There's probably like 50 of them there.
Scorching more than 2.2 million acres.
Yeah.
Give a million here or there.
Yeah,
What difference does
that's
it make, right?
Hey, I want to go back to whether these guys are heroes or not, because I can, again, speaking from experience, we have gone out on wildland fires. We in Southern California, we used to call them brush fires because that's primarily what they were.
Just to interject, the bridge fire is in California.
And we would work so long and so hard. It was all you could do is raise your hands. You were so tired, and yet you continued to work. Now I put those guys that saved our house in that category. They were absolutely dead tired because it's nothing to work 14, 16 hours a
and
day.
they were actually calling in all the firefighters that, were even on sick leave, not sick leave, but on, whatever.
Yeah,
And
off duty.
Thank you.
I
That's what I
want
was
to
trying
be
to say.
so I want to be critical, not of firefighters or policemen again. I think the people in the trenches are doing the job, right? They don't have any choices. They got what's in front of them and they do the work, and they're to be admired for it. I think the middle management and top management isn't good to these folks. I mean, I think our information about this fire is horrible. From the county, when are you evacuated, what news source, right? Those types of things. I didn't get that information, and I was in an evac zone. Where do you go get the information?
Exactly. And that was what
and
most
is
of
it the coordinator? Is it Adam Mayberry in that job?
Right.
Or
Yeah.
is it the fire department's job? And so
Well,
the firefighters, everyone doing the work is extremely to be grateful for, but their management, I'm not a big fan.
I can answer that question. They have, because of the multi-agencies that were brought in, the feds, U.S. Forest Service
Sure.
primarily, they brought in a type 1 management team. These are the guys at the top who know what they're doing. In the incident command system, right underneath the IC, the guy that's ahead of it, there's a little line that comes out, and there's 3 little branches. One of them is safety supervisor.
You're trusting big here.
They're the second one.
I don't really trust big. Just because you're called that doesn't mean you do that.
No, the IC, the incident command system is used across the country from California to New York. It's a standard system that we use. Right under the safety or on the same level as a safety officer is communications. Now, somebody was breaking down there.
For sure,
Because-
here, there was none.
Well, but you don't know if it lies there because in multiple agencies, he could be giving great press interviews, and the press is there jotting this down, and they'll tell you what they did yesterday.
It doesn't matter. It's the county government's job to tell us locally what's going on every daggone day.
Well, I think
See,
but here's the deal. What he's saying is that we don't have a source of information that we can trust, that we can go that like Washoe County. Okay, I'm going to listen to Bethany Drysdale, and she's going to tell us what's going on, and that's our source of information. We don't have that.
Yeah,
And we
you
should
were
have.
driving around making
what I'm saying?
conclusions.
Yeah,
you were driving around making conclusions. The rest of us can't do that.
Right. So for the people that live in that area, especially the ones that aren't evacuated yet, right? They have no idea, and they can't see because it's too close. You know, they
Or
can't see the forest
smoky
and the
or
trees.
fire or dark. What up?
Saturday morning, Friday night, they said they were going to try to get, there were 3 communities, St. James Village, part of Montreux, and whatever.
Arrow
Yeah.
Creek, Saddlehorn.
Yeah, right. They were going to try to get him released on Saturday. First thing when I woke up Saturday, I went on my phone, searched every possible thing that I could, not a word.
Right.
Then I get an email from my cousin who lives in Manhattan Beach in California, and she says, "Oh, I guess you're getting released today."
Exactly our
That's
point.
exactly what I'm
Yes.
talking about. And you know what?
Exactly.
Come on, county commissioners, that's you guys.
Yeah, there needs to be better communication within our area. Like I say, everybody on Nextdoor was saying, go to the Watch Duty Act, and it was good enough. But for somebody who's not involved in it, like I was outside the perimeter of it, I didn't have to really be worried.
Well,
My
So-
neighbors,
Wait a
right? There's a
second.
group of neighbors, and they're all in the neighbor network, and my brother's a part of that.
Right.
And his wife was out of town, so we stayed. It was just me and him and his dog,
Right.
and we stayed. Through 2 days of no power, and
Yeah, we have to
doing
get
what
you some solar
we were
stuff.
listening to satellite radio, but anyway.
over the years, and they will do it with this fire too. They call them post-incident analysis
Right,
now.
right.
We used to, growing up in the fires, we used to call them critiques,
Yep.
but they don't do. Oh, that has a negative
Do they
connotation.
do
to it.
those?
So okay.
Do they do
Well,
those?
I know that the Washoe
but
County.
every single critique I have ever been to, the number one thing that they come up with: radios, frequencies, and communication.
Yeah.
How about where are those critiques of all the fires? We're just
Yeah.
talking about 70 of them. We probably had the same amount of fires last year. I've never seen a critique.
Well,
I've never seen one in a
Well, I
newspaper.
will- I
Those are
tell you-
internal stuff.
And
yeah.
well, but it's also going to be the Washoe County Commissioners, because I was listening to the meeting today, and they are planning to.
They were in panic mode. They had
they-
no plan. They had no nothing. It's ridiculous.
They want to know a little bit more about how come it went down this way. Not that the firefighters did anything quote wrong. It's what you just said, communication.
It's our Flint water, right? I mean, best I can tell,
Yes.
Nevada, right? We keep voting for people that don't do us any good.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, we did not get to the assassination attempt at all. We'll probably cover that in the next.
Well, no, wait, yes, we did. It was kind of a long ways around, but Ed wants to kill the IC.
Oh my.
I just think preparedness is a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. Like I say, we got to buy you some solar stuff. I should have bought that for you as a birthday
And I
present.
didn't have a chance to tell you, but I do have my car and my
I
truck.
know.
So
and
I had
realize
juice
that.
in my
Yes,
phone.
I get
It was kind of a little bit like backpacking. I hate to say this, but my brother and I were up on his deck watching the cars. It was like a
Yep.
parade go up through Virginia City because all the roads were closed.
Oh,
Everyone had to
yeah.
go up through Virginia City
It's
going
true.
south. And we sat there and watched. And at first we go, what in the heck are they giving away free horses? But we realized that all the roads were closed.
Right.
Usually old 395 is open when
And
580
that
is
was what
closed.
was interesting is that then they closed 395 and kept 580 open,
That's ridiculous.
which I thought, well, 580 is so close to it. But I realized probably it had to do with the being able to cover the roads. You know what I mean? There were too many roads.
So they use 395 for their equipment
Right,
and stuff, and they just shut it down. It wasn't,
Right.
they needed it.
Right, exactly.
I get it.
No, I
That's a-
agree.
that's
No,
a
I
good
just thought
thing.
it was an interesting strategy, though. That the 580, which is you're looking on the map and it's in the fire, and
It is.
the
It's
390
right. There's
yeah.
ridges right under
Yeah.
it, and so as it comes north through there, every time it's a fulcrum left or right of that, up or
Yeah.
down, valley or mountain.
Yeah, there were some interesting.
Because remember, 5 years
stories.
ago, the power plant burned, or the weeds around it did. Right. I mean, there was a fire in the exact same place
Yeah.
10 years
Well,
ago and one 5 years ago.
I have to offer this because whenever I have trained, when I was again working and I would train these young kids, one of the things that I would tell them is we will witness it here next year at this time. All of this bird area will be back. And so, is it worth giving a life for? When you firefighters go out there, don't put yourself in areas where you can get killed. It's just, but they do. But it's cyclical. Nature wanted it that way. This is nature renewing itself. The only thing that's different between now and 100 years ago, we didn't have houses in the brush. Today we do.
Yeah, there's a lot of folks that'll tell you that climate change is the problem, and so you will be disliked from those folks, right?
If you tell them that it's nature,
Yeah,
nature at its finest. Yeah.
I know. But a lot of people say, "Oh, it's climate change."
Who doesn't love Mother Nature?
We all love Mother Nature. And you are listening to What's the Story? And I hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit of backstory from our guys who were in the thick of it, so to speak.
Yeah.
And kind of our little synopsis of the Davis fire.
You know, it's kind of funny, and you've lived out in the same area that we do.
Yep.
And it's an everyday thing.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's one of the things when we were talking about that pump station coming down in the Madden density, it's not a good idea. This happens regular.
It's not a good idea.
It's
in the
not,
last 11, 12 years.
Right.
Not before that.
Well, I don't know what happened before that.
I lived there for 20 years and we didn't have that.
I was going to say, I've been there for the last 11, 12.
It's changed.
And we've had,
changed.
Seriously, just 3 fires.
All right. I hate to tell you, but we gotta call it an hour, and we'll be back in just a little bit, and we'll have a new link, and hopefully you'll find us, and we'll see you then. This is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermson, Ed Knoll, Doug Ashby. We'll be right back.